Hi guys! Happy Saturday evening. And it's time for Mobile Web Dev on Air. That's it. And I'm waiting for my co-host and the guest. And our guest. There we go. Hi guys.
Hello.
Just waiting on a few more. And then I will post the broadcast publicly. This time I'm going to share it on Twitter and Facebook. Oh, why am I a green box?
You're not a green box to us.
Yes! Okay, cool. To me, okay. When I speak, I go on the main screen. Somebody else talk.
Hello.
There you go. Thank you. Makes me self-conscious when I go up.
They ought to change it so that when you're talking, you really do go full screen. That way people are afraid to talk all the time.
Yeah, or I don't want to see myself and have the option to not see myself. Then I don't get self-conscious. That's why I just look at the bottom. So that when I'm on the main screen, I don't care.
Hello all.
Hello!
Hello, good sir.
I'm going to open this to our previous guest too.
I've announced it to a few people.
Okay, well,
But I don't know if anybody's... I guess we're starting now, huh? We're live.
Not yet.
Oh, we're not live.
Yeah, hold on.
Live to 5 people.
Five live.
Hey, by the way, where do people go to see the live thingy?
On my stream.
On where?
On her stream, yeah.
My stream.
Just
it's
her link.
on my profile. And
We have with extras, so we're cool.
I'm gonna
Is it possible to watch when you're not in Google Plus?
No, yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
the other day I tried inviting that girl and she wasn't on Google Plus.
Oh, it's because you shared it with limited. If you share it with public, then it should be a public post, which anyone can see.
I am.
Yeah.
Let's just go live.
Okay.
Huh?
Go.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh shit, my coffee's gone.
And we're live.
Sorry.
Hi, this is Carmeline Thompson, and you're on Mobile Web Dev on Air with Mike Corbett and our guests Ben Woods and Derek Ross and our guest co-host Amy.
Yep.
Hello.
Awesome.
We're live.
So, what's going on today, guys? How's the Saturday been going?
Saturday was very cold and snowy. Shoveled snow all day, and then played with my son in the snow, sled riding, all that good stuff. I got the old hat on because I got the nice hat here. I figured didn't want to scare anybody off, so I just still kept it on.
Vitamin C
You're all right.
and Kleenex.
Cool. What's everybody else been doing today? Kind of open up the show differently today to see you. Kind of introduce people. Put a little bit of banter before the news.
But while you're doing that, I'm going to share it on Twitter.
Okay.
I've never really done that, so I'm going to start sharing it on Twitter.
I posted it publicly, so it technically went to my Twitter stream. So.
Oh.
Well, I took a break from the snow when my son was napping and flashed some stuff on my tablet, an update for my ROM, so I got to geek out a little bit today. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Did the same.
speaking of ROMs, I've been doing the DEX ICS ROM on the Evo. It's nice. A lot of stuff doesn't work. Well, actually, I say a lot of stuff. It's only the 4G and the calendar.
And the front camera.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well,
there should be a calendar fix for that. Actually, it's because AOSP doesn't support calendar sync, but there's a workaround for that.
yeah, I saw it, and I can get it to work like maybe 50% of the time.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it's just a lot more trial and error on their part. That's what a lot of it is. They create a build, they think they've got a fix, they flash it to somebody's device, doesn't work, they create another build. It's just a long process. I'm glad it takes 30 minutes now, though, instead of, 4 days or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep waiting for it to go into beta because I'm pretty sure once it actually hits beta, more or less everything's going to work, and then I'll be using it as a daily driver.
The build that Dex is actually using is part of a build that another person has created, which is part of CyanogenMod and part of so-and-so's and part of such and such. So it's just kind of like waiting for all these people to come together and create magic, supposedly, and getting it all taken care of. Yeah, a long process, though. I've tweeted back and forth with a number of devs and kind of asking them questions on it. And they're like, oh, that's actually so-and-so's department, and they're taking a second, and that's actually belongs to this person's project, and that's just not going to happen for a while. Sounds like camera is not a priority, and it's kind of a hard issue.
Well, from what I was... Oh, go ahead.
Most ICS ROMs, actually, that are in beta or alpha, depending on what you want to call it, actually have a lot of issues with cameras because the way that ICS is handling, I guess, the video drivers, most of them don't have it working or took a very long time for them to get working.
From what I understand, you have to wait for your device manufacturer's source to be released, which really is terrifying because a lot of them aren't going to release it.
A lot, actually. I mean, HTC devices, they're all out there. A handful of other devices from other developers are out there.
Well, that's good news. Maybe a lot of them have changed their minds about being more or different open.
Oh, there's still, dozens that aren't, but it's slowly getting better for the modding community.
Actually, since we're on this, I mean, it's kind of big news since it really doesn't belong. But I think, Derek, you have a touchpad too? Yes?
I did have a touchpad.
Oh, don't say that.
About 3 weeks ago, I sold it on eBay, $250. I'm kind of happy about that. But I have put CM9 on my boss's touchpad, a coworker's touchpad, and my sister's touchpad, and I will be putting it on another one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's on mine.
From what I understood,
it runs great.
It really runs amazing.
It's
I thought CM9, like, most of the stuff didn't work. Did I hear that wrong?
It works.
Camera doesn't work.
Camera doesn't work, that's it.
And, hardware accelerated video, you can't watch YouTube in HD, you can't watch Netflix. That'll be fixed eventually. Microphone doesn't work. You know what, you don't have a camera, so what do you need a microphone?
Yeah. And for the most part, you really don't need a camera because, I don't know if you can see, but there's no back camera. I mean, unless you want to hang out, which is cool. It's a fun idea.
Yeah, I mean, camera and HD video is really the only main thing that isn't working. I mean, it's literally night and day from the Gingerbread port. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's amazing. It really is. I
think there's a few games that just won't work due to the same thing.
It
feels like it should be. Feels like it should be native. It really
camera
does.
may
feels like ICS should have
never
came
work
with that.
properly on the touchpad since HP won't release their source.
I'm actually sure that somebody eventually will build it, but
Dahlgren's asked HP
a long time
for it.
I'm guessing somebody will build their own workaround, but it's just going to take forever. And like you said, it will never work properly.
Well, I mean, they've built all the drivers modules so far themselves. The only camera driver they have out there is the leaked one from Froyo, so there's nothing. I mean, unless somebody's amazing, you can get it working. But anyways,
so Scott. Yeah, really. Welcome, Scott. So kind of on this same topic, we should talk a little gaming. Maybe we can start on tablets, just because we're already kind of there. I mean, kind of don't know where to start it with because I don't know. Do we want to talk about what you think will happen with gaming on tablets, or do we want to just talk about what your favorite games are on tablets, or even mobile development on tablets if you do such things?
Let's just hit them all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just kind of start with what do you guys like to game on. I mean, maybe people don't know what you can do with a tablet for gaming other than the obvious, which would be Angry Birds. I feel like Angry Birds is the Minesweeper of 2012.
It is.
It really is. But since we're talking about tablets, why don't we talk about Grand Theft Auto on tablets, which was
you mentioned
kind of the
that
biggest
That's
deal.
a good idea. I mean, it kind of, for me, I know it got announced, and then all of a sudden, a couple months later, it was just out. And I was like, hey, wait a second. When did this happen? And I was like day one, I was there with it, but I didn't see any pre-press releases or any gaming sites like, okay, this is coming soon. It just happened. And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Which tablet?
It pretty much supports, well, with workarounds now, you can get it on almost any tablet.
But I think officially it's only on the iPad, or is there
I think
official...
I think there's an Android tablet it's on. I think it might be on... I don't even want to say it because I know the commenters are going to eat me alive. I feel like it's on... what's that tablet called? Because I know it'll handle it. I just wonder if they've done it yet. What's that new Android tablet called? I get Showtime and I forget all my information.
Transformer Prime?
Yeah, Transformer Prime. I feel like it might be on that officially. I'm pretty sure the Galaxy Tab 10.1 is either being worked on or it's out for that officially now too. And it's out for a couple of phones on Android officially as well.
Yeah, I actually didn't check its compatibility just yet.
How would the gameplay be on phones?
On phones, it's smaller, of course. It's just the same gameplay, just crunched. I mean, they just smush the HUD just insanely. It's like, this is hard.
It Grand Theft Auto 3 by Rockstar Games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the official Grand Theft Auto 3 Rockstar has ported it over.
And
the cool thing is...
Right now, I can buy it right now for $5 and install it.
Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is they didn't get rid of the keyboard controls. Like, they're all technically still there. I looked at the PC version of the game, and I was trying, unsuccessfully, to map my Wii Classic controller to the keyboard controls to make them work. I just can't jump, and I can't sprint, which are actually more useful than you'd think. When you're playing a game, you're like, okay, well, maybe I can deal without sprinting, and then you're like running from the cops or something. Because I've installed the Super Punch mod on there. So if I ever do punch somebody with the on-screen controls, and I don't knock them across the screen from the punch, they run after me, and that means their next punch is going to knock me across the screen. So sprinting is actually really helpful.
It actually is available for the Evo 4G.
Okay, yeah. I haven't played it on the Evo yet. I played it on the... Actually, I guess I just played it on the touchpad when it was Gingerbread. I've not played it on the ICS touchpad yet.
And it's supposed to be on the S2 and possibly Nexus, so it should...
Droid Bionic, it is not supported natively on the Galaxy Nexus, but
there's workarounds.
S2 it is. Yeah,
Really?
I mean, natively it's not. I mean, I can't buy it, but if I want to get it from elsewhere, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even you could even buy it for one device.
That's weird. That was just something I picked up off of
put it on there with another
gadget.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder about the control schemes of these, because, for example, if you think first-person shooter, which GTA 3...
it's got first-person shooter pieces.
Yeah.
It's not really a first-person shooter.
I'm not exactly which genre to classify it as, really. I mean,
they kind of made their own genre with these style of games, and they've done a really good job. Because it's an FPS, it's also an action-adventure. I mean, it does a lot of different things that nothing else has done, and I mean, if they can, if they've ported 3, they can definitely port the other 2 that are spawns of 3. 4, I doubt right now, maybe to the Transformer Prime. But I mean, question being, what do you want it? Because the controls really are really goofy. Driving, your finger slips off the drive button or the steering wheel button, and it's goofy. Walking and running are kind of hard sometimes. You can walk or run from anywhere on the left side of the screen. As soon as you put your thumb down, it creates a controller there. But if you need to reposition or move around because that becomes uncomfortable, you lose it, and it just becomes a little bit difficult.
I think that's kind of the downfall of these type of games on a tablet or a phone. You know, I think that controls are a leading factor once that's fixed, mastered, or addition of a Bluetooth controller or something like that. Then
and they've actually got a PS3 mod you can use to use a PS3 controller perfectly. I don't know if they worked with Rockstar or whatever. It works perfectly though. It does everything you'd expect a PS1 controller to do.
Yeah, that's what
the Wii remote though does not work.
Well, that's what I was thinking is that if you see big AAA title games coming out on mobile devices, I can imagine seeing a bunch of manufacturers, or maybe even the big ones themselves, coming out with their controller for mobile devices. Done probably via Bluetooth. I would love to have a 360 controller on games on my phone or whatever, or on a tablet. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I can eventually see Rockstar or one such company to that making their own controller and then mapping it, because there's definitely a demand right now. I think a lot of people are going, this is cool, but I hate controlling it, so I'm not going to play it.
Do you think that the gaming developers are going to be looking into control manufacturing? Because
it doesn't have to be amazing controls.
Well, I have to agree with them because...
Why would they put development money into that when they can just have a third party do it and have it kind of a universal...
Good point. I guess
and no one's going to want to carry multiple controllers if they're going to carry more games.
Yeah.
It depends on, I would say, the type of developer you are. If you're a single developer just trying to make money yourself as your living, or side money, whatever, if you're a single guy versus an actual company that is porting it themselves, it depends on what your resources are, what action you're going to take.
Yeah.
I don't see the mass majority ever doing that, but I could see a couple of the big guys doing it.
Like Nyko?
Yeah.
But in that case, then people would have made their own proprietary controls specifically for their games for other systems too. So I can't imagine multiple, because they have to re-release these games for multiple hardwares, and it would be so much for them to invest when it would be easier to try to program for a universal controller.
I see it sort of as, if you remember the way that PC joysticks evolved throughout the years. So, like, for example, think, just go 96 or something like that. You had these crappy things that had a D-pad and 2 buttons on them. And then so on and so forth, you got more and more and more. I would kind of expect to see that sort of thing come out on mobile, where essentially you would have probably the bigger companies, the ones that make controllers that aren't awful, come out, with their Mega Controller 3 or, of awesomeness, and all these other knockoffs try to do it.
I think a lot of it also stems from demand. If Rockstar's getting tons and tons and tons of emails saying, okay, your game is great, but I can't play it, then at that point, another thing to look at is GameStop now sells used tablets. So would it be in the smart mind to go, okay, Rockstar, we want this, and Rockstar finally goes, okay, I understand it, that makes sense, and then they go to Nyko or Mad Catz and make a universal Bluetooth controller for all tablets, and then say, hey, this is what we want.
I think that's really the best option. It would kind of be simulating when these cheapy little machines that you can buy usually around Christmas time, that's a controller with 10 games in it. It could be something like that.
Exactly.
But it would also be it would have more potential in the tablet market. Sorry, I'm kind of sick, so.
What about
I think Ben.
Snap on controllers, where you would just snap it on your tablet or your...
That's been talked about, but I know everyone's biggest concern with the Wii U, not mobile, but a concern nonetheless, is that the controls are too far apart. I mean, they're not, because Nintendo really knows what they're doing, but you'd have to have a secondary company that really knows what they're doing with a controller that far apart. I mean, I'm holding a tablet now, and imagine my hand's way out here. Would I still be comfortable? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to
There's
see.
also the question of a unique form factor because there are no two devices that are actually built to be exactly the same. Not even iPhones are done that.
Yeah, they can claim everything's a 10-inch tablet, but the Galaxy Tab's a 10.1, the touchpad's a 9.9. I believe the iPad's a perfect 10 square all the way around. You know, it wouldn't be able to fit in everything. Plus, you'd have to have universal connecting ports, assuming that. I mean, the iPad has the giant one, the touchpad has a small one, and the Galaxy Tab, I want to say it has a big one, but I don't remember.
Well, one thing.
So yeah, form factors definitely, and usability is definitely something.
One thing in particular that I'm thinking of is, what about the genres where controllers are not really appropriate? For example, obviously, if you know me, my focus would be RTS, where, you know, I mean, for example, in my games, everything is hotkeyed. You know, you're all over the keyboard all the time. Well, to put that in a mobile sense, not to say RTS games would be coming to mobile anytime soon, but, you know, just for the future, I imagine something like that will come.
Once they get more power.
Yeah.
And more in homes.
Control schemes get a little bit interesting. Now, I have seen some touchscreen implementations, which were fairly all right. I still wouldn't prefer them to a mouse and a keyboard. But I think there's probably going to have to be some sort of, I want to say standard, but it's the wrong word, but some sort of standard control scheme that will adapt to games in other genres that require, you know, 50 bazillion buttons. Kind of reminds me of the old flight stick. If you remember that, it had like 50 buttons on it.
I imagine they're going to get to that one as it comes. Because, I mean, they're not going to know what we're even looking at until we're literally looking at it.
The thing with controllers
so
also is the matter of investment is extremely high. Because when it's one thing to roll out is like, we're going to do this test bed game and then we'll iterate over that, see what users can actually use. But that's assuming you know what the form factor is. You know if you have controls, you know if you have keyboards. But when having testing for actual hardware would be way more expensive. And for things that the research costs are really high.
Yeah, the other thing I think on top of, to add on top of what you're saying, you'd have to think companies aren't going to make it for the Galaxy Tab or the iPad. Well, they might make it for the iPad, but they're not going to make it for every Android iteration. They're going to make it for their game. So they're going to be like, okay, we got Dungeon Scrapers 5 coming out, and then they're going to be like, well, you know, if controllers do become a big deal, they're going to go, are we going to make a controller? Are we going to try to get third-party out this controller? And when we do third-party out this controller, or if we use a third-party controller, we've also got to add mapping of said controller into our game. I mean, that could get kind of crazy and costly and irritating. So, I mean, when I started this conversation up, I was thinking it'd be more easy. It's going to be difficult.
The Android, you know what, I feel bad. I don't even know what it's called. I'll come back to my thought. Hold on a second.
Okay. Research. Come back. We'll be here.
Do you think this is where Microsoft kind of has the hand up? I mean, they have everything kind of, I mean, all they need to do is plop it onto, you know, a phone or a tablet and, you know, have it there, and they have the ecosystem there already. Now, how do they tether that to, like, their PC, you know, PCs or consoles?
It may not even be that hard. Can you imagine E3 this year? They come out and they go, okay, we've got a tablet. You know, it's going to be kind of cool. It's gonna be independent, and it's got Halo.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of throw it on the ground. It blasts into a million pieces, and they're like, that's what we got. And then later we'd come to find out in press releases and things that it works with your 360 controller already.
Oh my!
Basically,
they would have people drooling.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because PS3 controllers already work for Android tablets pretty well, but they don't work great. I mean, if you could get a native controller to work for a tablet, developers would just go there because it'd be easy. They'd release it with an SDK.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard at all, and there'd be a controller already built on.
Exactly.
I mean, things like Halo running on a quad-core tablet, it may not be Halo as we know it, but it'd be a version of Halo, maybe like Combat Evolved. What they'd probably end up doing is Combat Evolved, Re-Evolved, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's Game 1 with extra HD graphics running on a quad-core tablet, because that's still more powerful than original.
Your TV then, too, which would be just like the console, so you've got it right there running on the tablet. You got it on your TV, though, and you've got your real controller. So, how does that change your atmosphere or, whatever you were working on before or playing it in your Xbox 360? It feels the same, but it's outputted in a completely different way and a mobile way.
But how about the tablet being the controller itself instead of...
What?
I think just tablet-based. I think your is she being quiet or does she go robot?
Being quiet.
Did I go robot?
Oh, okay. No, you went quiet. You went quiet. You're not a robot.
I'm quiet again. It's like adjust itself. Every time I talk.
I've got Google turning her into the
Just yell at
Android.
your computer like you're mad at it.
No, I'm watching it go down. Like as I talk, the volume keeps going down and down and down.
Throw it against the wall. That always works.
Okay, what was your question?
My question was, what if you use the tablet itself as the controller instead of having to manufacture controllers? That will.
It's awkward to hold, and you're also giving up screen real estate. So your screen will actually be like 5-7 inches instead of 10, and it really detracts from that whole I'm playing my TV game on my tablet.
Well, if you use the tablet, I think she's saying, and maybe that's what you're. Blah. I think what she's maybe saying is use the entire tablet as just a controller, though, and they do that already, and for certain things it works.
I like this.
Like, I mean, there's a controller you can buy or you can put on your Android phone, and then put it on your Android tablet, and so it uses them as a TV controller base. And the controller is the phone, the tablet is the TV or the gaming source, but it still doesn't work like you'd want it to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think physical buttons is what we really are trying to go for here. And I mean, you were saying earlier about the TV and the controller, if you use a smart TV or whatever. I think the problem there is it's kind of like the PS Vita right now, or the Vita. It's pronounced Vita, but people call it Vita. How are you comfortable? It's from what I've understood, from what I've heard about the Japanese gamers, they don't want to buy it because it's expensive for one, and it's so similar of an experience to the PS3 that they're like, well, I've got a PS3. I don't want to play. I don't care if this is a new story. I just don't want to play that game that came out at launch again. I just don't care. And so it's like, I don't know if gamers are going to think that way or not.
I think for tablets it's different because with tablets you have the expectation where the scale of the game is going to be smaller. I can see a really large market for porting over original, officially licensed Nintendo and PlayStation and Dreamcast games and Genesis games. Being able to have an existing market that brings it direct, drops it down, I think it would be cheaper at least to get that started.
And guys my age that grew up playing the old Nintendo games back in the 80s, right now I can do it, illegally if I wanted to. I can put on an emulator and I can play ROMs, but Nintendo's not making any money off that. They don't want to go after Android. They're trying to go after their own platform. But
I know they already said it's not on the roadmap. That's not. I wasn't saying that they are going to do it, but I'm saying that the market is there to bring over things that already exist on a platform that's already standardized. The path to entry has much less resistance.
Exactly.
Speaking of old school gaming, Atari is actually getting into mobile gaming now.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I had an Atari 2600 back in the day.
So they announced that they've been in contact with different game developers, and they're trying to put together like new games that will work on mobile devices like your tablet, your phone.
I hope.
So expect a lot of new things from Atari when it comes to mobile gaming. Maybe this
Think
year.
about like a game room type thing.
If I could play Jungle Hunt or Defender on this thing, that would be amazing. That would be so much fun. I would do it. I'd pay $1 for that app.
or even like a new version, kind of like I don't know. I'm sure nobody actually saw it.
Like the new Space Invaders, Space Invaders 3D. Play that.
I'm sure no one saw it, but they had Pitfall for the Wii.
Hey,
like
they have Space Invaders for the PS3.
Version. Okay,
that's
that's very awesome. I love that they're updating. I had no idea. I thought you were saying, imagine
I'm
this.
not joking.
That's really cool.
Things are they're actual
That's
things.
really cool.
Is there a Pong game? And I haven't really.
There better be.
I don't know if it.
And they said that they're not gonna port their old games, but they're not that.
Well, porting their old games and
They're not
redoing
above
their old games are a whole different thing.
I know.
Because like I said, Pitfall, I mean, it's a pretty fun version of the game. I think it definitely undersold because of the audience, and I don't think parents realized exactly what it was. I mean, I don't think they realized that it was Pitfall, the old version. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think I think kids looked at it and thought, this is the ugliest Wii game I've ever seen in my life. and I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of like I don't know if you guys play games by the company Telltale. But it was kind of a graphic design similar to that, like not their Lego games, but their actual Telltale games. Kind of a cartoony 3D, kind of fun game though. But I mean, can you imagine updating older Atari games? Hopefully not E.T., but other games. Please, other games. Please, other games.
Oh, and I love that game a lot.
I would like someone to bring back Bubble Bobble.
That's gotta be public.
Because it's not. They still own the license because they made a new one for the Wii when the Wii first came out, and I don't think I slept in. I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks.
They did that. They did the same thing with Adventure Island. They remade a version of Adventure Island for the Wii, and it was pretty cool too. So, I mean, can you imagine porting these things to mobile though? Because it's
but that's what I was saying.
It'd be easy.
When the Wii Store came out and they started building all of these old games that can go downloaded directly to your Wii, that was my DLC fund for 2 years. Now, if they could port those games to my phone, I probably wouldn't get any work done at all.
Yeah.
You know what? But these games that we keep talking about are hardcore gamer games. What about? I mean, no one's mentioned the extremely simple new games such as Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, Where's My Water? Those things that people that aren't gamers that are buying and downloading.
The games my mom loves.
And making tons and tons and tons of money. I mean, these games are so simple that you don't have to be a gamer to play them. My wife, for example, she's not a gamer. She will never play a computer game. But you know what? She'll sit there and sit in the couch or in bed or wherever she's at, and she'll sit there and she'll play.
Even before Farmville.
All those games I just mentioned, I mean,
I've heard
those
those
type
too.
of games are turning people into gamers and making people money.
Exactly.
I'll play anything that can get to whatever system I'm using at the moment.
That's definitely a new wave, I mean, of interesting games. Because these old games are cool,
Isn't that new, though? If anyone remembers the shareware from the late 80s, early 90s, this is exactly that with better graphics and cheaper development.
They're not new at all, but the fact that they're portable makes them interesting.
Easily accessible and better graphics, that's why it wins right there.
Exactly, because, I mean, the hardest part about playing Grand Theft Auto on a game, on a tablet, is the fact that I might have a save state, but it's not until I get back somewhere. And if I need to stop it now, I can't. If I need to stop Angry Birds at any time, it's not that big of a deal because it's like, I'll get back to world, whatever. I mean, you don't have to save anything. It auto-saves because it's so simple. I mean, that's the beauty of these games. I mean, that's my one problem with playing.
But that's inherent of
big title games on a
the
tablet.
GTA franchise in general, that you have save points. If you go to a game like Dragon Age or something, where like BioWare allows you to save pretty much anywhere where there's in combat. So I think that's more of a programming issue than. I mean, because I realize how hard it is to save when someone turns off their phone or screens out, but just being allowed to save isn't that difficult. There are a lot of games, casual games too, where you can save at any point. You don't have to wait till your stage ends or whatever.
That's actually my main reason for buying the most recent Nintendo handheld is because I don't have to save anything. As long as my battery doesn't die, I've got a save state automatically.
What I would love is that if, because I love this about the DSi, but I had just bought my DS because I'm a stalker, that if, because the thing with the DSi is that they allow you to download things directly to, I mean, nothing they had at the time was good, and they didn't start releasing good DSware until this year.
Yeah,
but if you could hook up like hook up 3G into it, like it goes into a Kindle, and just I can download actual fun games to a DS, I would have upgraded immediately. I would have been one of those. I would have been there with 20-year-olds in line. I mean, I'm too old for this crap, but I would do it for this one thing.
I think that's actually something that's coming. I think they're going to watch the 3DS, or not the 3DS. I think they're going to watch the PSP Vita. And if the Vita does well on this, then, especially in Japan, with NTT Docomo, I think Nintendo could be next. It's hard to say, but if the PS Vita does well, then I think they'll definitely do something along these lines. Mind you, these are just for right now in Japan, they're just for those tiny updates. They're not for online gaming, and I know you don't want that. That's just for the users out there who are thinking about it. On a broader scale, you don't online game on the 3G connection or 4G connection. Right now, they're limiting it to you download or whatever a such and such megabyte file, not even a gigabyte, just megabytes. So, but it's definitely an interesting idea.
I just want Ninja Gaiden on my phone and on my tablet. I can die happy then.
Yep.
Without an emulator.
Just the old ones, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
New, old, but yes.
The reason why I brought up something as complicated as GTA 3 is that if it does well and this market for AAA games really starts opening up, I think, and like controller issues aside, it would be really it would reopen the gaming market pretty much because right now it's starting to tighten again.
It's hard because they keep releasing another version of what looks like Angry Birds with a twist, or Cut the Rope with a slight change, or something else along those versions. There are companies that are kind of innovating, but you can only have so many tower defense games with a twist before it's just another tower defense game.
But I mean, think about it. If it's not broken, why try to fix it? They are making money off of it, and those ideas are very profitable right now. And until something, until another startup comes up with a new idea, which is going to be awesome, they're going to keep doing what they're doing, make money.
Oh yeah.
How about this for a new path of entry into mobile gaming? G+ had all of their games be HTML5 compatible.
That'd be very interesting.
To bring the G+ games into an Android phone, just because,
or Google TV,
Android, or into Google TV. Yes, like if you can bring those games in,
that'd be
then that's a new market.
They haven't said how, but they've said it's coming.
That's interesting. If it is,
that's very interesting.
It's
and
unfortunate.
they said it'll be competitive too, the way it is.
Why is it unfortunate?
No, I was expanding on that. It's unfortunate that Logitech is discontinuing the review and Google TV in general, because if you've used a Logitech review, it's got the full keyboard which controls the review, your cable box, as well as your sound system. It's got all that in there. And so as far as, it's even got a little mouse pad built into it. Something like that, if it had a decent processor in it, decent amount of memory, basically, some decent specs, you actually could game on it. Now, I realize that that's kind of getting to gaming on your TV. But still, I mean, it does kind of, with Ice Cream Sandwich pulling all the Android stuff together, it kind of gets a little bit relevant, at least.
But that's a different kind of gaming on TV too. You're bringing casual games to a much larger screen, which I think personally would be fantastic, because they're trying to do it with the Wii, where they're putting things like time management and object games, which is extremely hard to do when on something that's, well, which is on an IR remote. It's a pain, which is too bad because I love these games.
I wonder if they're going to be using new technology in the new remote, maybe along the lines of what Sony's been doing, plus a little more maybe.
Samsung's remote that has the almost like Wii
the new Wii remote.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Google. I'm sorry, Google.
No, it's fine.
Google TV new remotes. I think it's Samsung. Blu-ray as well as set-top box.
Wow.
Maybe it's Sony. Honestly, I don't remember, Scott. It was announced at CES. Do you remember which one? Either way, one of those two manufacturers has a remote out that have a similar functionality to almost like a Wii remote. I don't remember all the details on that.
I know those Wii remotes are becoming big.
Yeah, although what Ben was saying, the processing power needs to be there. If these devices that you hold in your hands, if they work great, it's not going to work great if the UI and everything is working fluently. And that's where I think that Google TV and all the manufacturers of hardware, they need to improve. They need to have quad cores. They need to be, very nice UIs.
I think we'll just see a good start this year into it, and next year is where it'll really come and be a big deal. We might see some really good winning titles this year, but it won't really advance until next year, I feel like.
Yeah.
Part of me is very tempted to go ahead and buy GTA 3 for my phone, then mirror it on my TV and see what happens.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I wonder how that would work.
Yeah, I mean it should work fine.
And then even better yet, if, like I said, you could get your PS3 controller, or even go find like a Mad Catz PS3 controller or something along those lines, and then play like you're playing for real, but have it on your TV, have your controller sitting there. I mean, controllers can go 30 feet or so.
Yeah.
By the way,
you can definitely hit your couch.
Before mine beep, but think about this. Okay, you have your mobile device, or rather, you're sitting in your living room. You're playing a game on your TV. You unplug a thing from your mobile device, and you walk off still playing your game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Holy crap.
Yeah, go to the bus instead of playing your game.
And then, if you come to the TV and they're watching TV, you plug your phone in or whatever. It goes picture-in-picture, so you got a small picture-in-picture playing the game. So not even people that are watching TV. Oh, money.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's banking on a similar idea.
But they need the platform on the TV, and nobody's really brought that together yet.
No, that's what Nintendo's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Mahjong, casual gaming. Mahjong, casual gaming. Go Carm.
Representing the board game.
Let's not tell my wife that's on my tablet, because I won't see it again.
That's why I didn't tell my mother that Scrabble was on Facebook.
A dear friend of the show, Jake. I can't say his last name. Sorry, Jake. He bought like his grandma and his dad and his sister and I think even another family member touchpads, so they could play online poker.
I want to be in his
Angry Birds, and a couple other games.
That
so they
was
could just
brilliant.
All online play and do these cool games. And I think I want to say his grandma and his dad will play online because of the Android support of the certain poker games. So they could have these little fun times. And I tell him about ICS updates every now and again. So his sister's tablet now has that as well. But it's pretty cool. I mean, speaking more about that, because I mean, if tablets ever do get to that price, or mobile phones become more of gaming machines, because right now I think I'd rather game on a tablet than a mobile phone.
Yeah,
especially for a big gaming experience.
Yeah.
I don't mind Angry Birds at the bus stop or at lunch break, but if I'm going to play a bigger game, I want it on a tablet. Yeah. But for mobile phones, once they get to be a better gaming machine, and then tablets once they get either bigger games or more connected games, I mean, and cheaper, this could be really interesting for the mobile gaming market, because I mean, it's already there. The interest is there, obviously. Tablets are definitely making a hit on things like Nintendo DS sales and PS Vita sales. I mean, imagine, especially since there's a lot of people out there that are like, should I buy my child an iPad for Christmas, or should I? No, don't nod your head just yet. I mean, it's nothing I agree with either. But it's should I buy my child an iPad for Christmas, or should I buy them a Vita for Christmas? An iPad 1 is the same price as a Vita, and you can do more. So it's like, what are we gonna get here? And they don't even have to be child. They can be an 18-year-old child. 18-year-old children do love the Vita and do love iPads.
Similarly, that's pretty much why I actually got my touchpad before I had sold it. I wanted to buy my son he's 2 years old now, and he always wanted to play with, mommy and daddy's, devices and everything. I was like, let's go buy him a little kiddie one. And a Leapfrog Kids tablet was $90.
Ooh.
And, the screen's this big on it, and you can't do shit. So I said, touchpad fire sale, $100. Same price, and how many Android, I knew they were going to put Android on it. I knew that was coming eventually.
I knew that too. People say don't expect it, don't buy a tablet for expectations, but I knew it.
I said, you know what, for all the kid games out there, I said, it's a no-brainer to buy this. And he can get thousands of kids games, and he can do a million things more than he could do on his little Leapfrog thing, specifically for, children, toddlers. And I said, sold it, but, he uses my tablet, he uses this guy here, so that's fine. But it's the same concept. He uses it for games, and I don't see a reason for me to buy him any of the Leapfrog or something like that, for kids, because the games are just better. He can play just as many educational games on the tablet.
On an added note to that, coming with the TV gaming going to mobile and back and forth and whatnot, I would think, because, for example, okay, how much did the PS3 cost?
Sell for originally?
Yeah,
it was, the top model was like $900.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
was the one we got.
Now,
that was a top model.
Okay. Now, extrapolate that. Imagine you buy a tablet for $900. What does it have in it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Better have everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You better get two tablets.
Well,
now we all pretty much know that a tablet is probably never going to top over $500 or $600. Because
no, cost will go down.
Yeah. Now, imagine you have all that power built in something that you can plug into your TV, you can use a controller on, and you can take it with you whenever you're going to the bus stop or going to work or.
I think Android's going to do that anyway. I think your thought process is simplified by mobile gaming in the fact that you'll be playing a game on your mobile TV. Not on your mobile TV, on your home television.
He's got the old thing with the antennas.
Those are also $100.
I'm so into mobile web dev, I love just mobile TVs. No. I think what we're thinking is that most tablets will either have Bluetooth 4 or NFC, and TVs, how hard would it be to build NFC or Bluetooth into the front of a television to where I could just tap and take whatever game I'm playing with me on the tablet. And that way I'm playing and I need to go to work, but maybe I catch the bus or a cab or something, and I just tap the television to my tablet or my phone, and that game with its save state comes over exactly. It's not something that can't happen. It will happen. It's just not today, obviously.
I don't think it'll be something with... I don't think it'll be something with NFC. I think that is interesting. I think that's more of a person-to-person sharing type deal. Because I would not like to go up to my TV and go, beep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of annoying because, ideally, I think it would just be a button. Like on iOS or like an AirPlay feature of type.
Yeah.
Beam done. Okay, change the states. Beam to TV, done, cool, okay. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Maybe NFC would be an option, but AirPlay would be the main.
Yeah.
Obviously, AirPlay type feature would be the main idea. I
think playing it on your TV, but NFC would definitely be useful for other things.
Well, it would also be just fun because I'd be like, hey, look, friends or parents or relatives, look what my TV and my tablet can do. They'd be like, what? And then you touch it together, and they'd be like, how to do that, because my mom, that would blow her mind. She'd be like, what?
Did you learn black magic? No.
I did. I actually did last week. I'd go with that for a while. I did.
Yeah.
I've got the more in my basement.
I'm about the gaming development and the ecosystem of all these different types of devices and bringing them into one thing and making it easy and accessible. That's just going to be the money when it happens.
It's a big deal for me, too.
Personally, I think the largest obstacle, which we've been talking about, but I think the largest obstacle to mobile gaming is the control interfaces. Because, like you mentioned, having your fingers all over the screen and stuff like that. Dude, seriously? Okay, you know, the Evo has a 4.3 screen, right?
Yeah,
which is pretty big. I can't stand to have my thumb over it to, you know, to pull it back for Angry Birds or whatever. I can't stand it. It drives me freaking crazy. And one of the games I was mentioning earlier, the Reckless Getaway, it's not quite so bad in that. But, you know, just all these games that I play on my phone, it drives me freaking bonkers to have my hands over the screen, because basically what I see the screen is in between my hands. Yeah. And so...
I don't know if there's many ways around that. I mean,
I would just say
I think the back touchpad, but I don't like the back touchpad idea either.
But you mean having a control interface?
What about it? You know, something that we're used to playing games differently. You know, we're used to playing games with a controller. We're used to playing games and sitting in front of a TV. Not to make us sound older or anything, but think of kids that are teenagers right now that are growing up playing games on this. They're gaming a whole different way than we are, and
with a stick and one button.
They're okay with doing that, though.
Yeah, they're playing
you know what I mean?
They use their body. Don't show stuff.
No.
Yeah.
yeah, they do it too. But I mean, we're accustomed to what we grew up playing with and what we've used, computer and console for years. Other generations are more familiar with this because this is what they're growing up with.
I go to birthday parties at my grandma's house probably every month now. We've got enough cousins and such to where it becomes a monthly thing. And 4 of my cousins that regularly visit the party have iPod Touches. And I've never heard them complain about that thing. I mean, it is a complaint of ours, but it's not a complaint of theirs. So it's kind of interesting.
But how many games do they play that are on the scale where the controllers would actually become an issue?
Oh, never, ever. And that's just the thing, though. That's just not something they care about. I mean, they would enjoy Grand Theft Auto, but I just can't imagine a time when they'd play it. Kids these days, well, some kids are not, but these kids are very busy. They go to, on the bus to their next wrestling meet or their next soccer match or football thing. Exactly, they'll play then, but they wouldn't play Grand Theft Auto on a long scale like that.
It's just a little bit of why I think that's relevant is I can't play a new PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, with a control with 10 buttons. I was spoiled back when I was a kid playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo and had 2 buttons or 4 buttons. I can't play. I suck. I have a cousin that we used to want to play Halo with me, and I would try to play, and I play, and I mean I'm pretty good at first-person shooter on a with a keyboard and mouse. For years I've done that. I try to play, and I can't control my gun. I can't shoot. I can't aim. I can't anything. I grew up playing with a Nintendo controller, and then I graduated computer games, but I'm not good with the new controls. I mean, it's all what you're used to, and so I said earlier, I think that if you're growing up using one thing, which kids today are, I don't think they really have a problem with it.
It's interesting. They can adapt.
Yeah, they definitely can, and I think a lot of these kids these days, at least the younger ones, they've grown up with these small devices, but they really haven't had the opportunity to take that mobile and make it stationary on a bigger screen. They've never experienced that. I think a lot of us have experienced that, and I think it would be something that would be very interesting.
It very well could be. I mean, I just don't know.
You're getting trolled.
Even our admin has brought this entire hangout to a screeching halt.
Meanwhile, in chat.
Meanwhile, in side chat, people are picking on my.
What you can't see is Scott's young, but not much younger than me.
How to troll a on-air hangout.
Am I the youngest one here?
I think we can say that anyone safely. I have to think if Scott was born in the 80s or not. Most people born in the 80s are safe to say.
Yeah, okay.
No, that are younger than that are safe to say that they're one way of gaming, and then kids born in the mid-90s are another form of gaming.
Yeah.
Basically, if 80s hair bands were ever awesome to you, then you...
Yeah. Then
What do you mean
enjoy
were?
a form of gaming. Yes,
Well, yeah, good point. Are.
They're
Sorry.
touring. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I mean, I think it's been very interesting. I think the you guys, being a little bit older, have been, you grew up with the, console mind frame, and okay, let's go to the TV to play a game. Now these kids are going mobile, and when you guys kind of got your mobile phones and things like that, you kind of, acquired that type of gaming, and you learned how to use it, and you have both sides. But now I think they're going to kind of bring it together, and old school, new school, and I think it'd be very interesting to see, young kids and older people, just getting along together and playing the same games and having fun. With that.
Kind of like everyone needs to take watch at what Nintendo has done. Because it's just the old people, young people, and this isn't even a generation gap thing. This is when 90-year-olds are playing with 5-year-olds at bowling or ping pong or whatever.
The Wii definitely shortened the generation gap in gaming.
Well, I think Android and Apple could do the same thing. I mean, iPad and TV, or iPod remotes and TV. I mean, how hard would it be?
I
Same
think
thing with Android
it's
phones.
moving from back to the whole D-pad and anywhere between 2 to 4 buttons again, just because that's the kind of space that you're dealing with. And also, it's like we went from having a stick with a button to a D-pad with 4 buttons to 12, 18 buttons to full keyboards, and we're back to no buttons again. So I think it's just cyclical in what we end up building and what button, how many functions we can shove into as few buttons as possible.
Well, it was so simple. It's getting back to the simple again. I mean, it'll be interesting when we get back to the difficult in a couple years. But I mean, the Nintendo controller, the new Nintendo Wii remote, not new anymore, 5 years old now. But when it came out, it had like 4 main buttons again. It had like 6 or 7 buttons, but 4 of them were only used most of the time. And you could hold it even sideways in game. And then so now they have the controller, and then you've got the of course Kinect, and it doesn't even have buttons. But I think we could see the next gaming Bluetooth type device, or controller for a phone only have 4 or 5 buttons.
Well, speaking of like games, I started playing games with the Game & Watch. I'm not sure if this is like.
Oh wait, are you talking about the ones that made the little annoying beeps?
Yeah,
you're not.
Yeah, I'll link the.
Yeah, dude, I had one of those. That was awesome.
Oh my.
Mr. Game & Watch.
Dude, I had Zelda on my watch.
Even mobile. So.
Are you? This was actually something that was sold?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like big thing.
Big deal.
I feel bad for you guys.
Oh.
Younger. So you have like.
Wow.
You're talking about this. Yeah, I had one of these.
That is mobile gaming.
That was mobile gaming.
The main character of the Game & Watch was called Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah, there's
FYI.
different things under Game & Watch.
So
I want to now make up old technology and see who actually believes it.
I've almost purchased one of these because you can buy them from Nintendo now if you get enough gaming points. So when you buy Nintendo games, you go back to Nintendo's website, you register said games, and you get coins.
I know.
I could technically buy one of these units. And they had like 5 units on there because each unit has 1 game on it. It's not like today,
don't
where
think
each...
it would have improved at all since it came out the first time.
No. It won't improve. It's just for nostalgia purposes. And some of them are like, I think they're like 300 coins, which is not hard to achieve. If you buy a console, I think you get like 200 coins. Anyway, the other thing I think you can do is I think you can download the collection on your DSi or 3DS. I mean, it wouldn't really be worth it because they cost money and these things, even for nostalgia purposes, aren't that fun. But it's pretty cool. I mean, going back, that's more classic, of course.
I'm now having horrible flashbacks of every stupid gaming thing I've ever owned.
I did go and get one of those Atari controllers with all the games in it. Oh, dude, it's the best thing I ever bought.
Yeah.
Asteroids.
So, who do you guys think is going to be the first to create the full ecosystem for hardcore gamers and the regular type of gamers, aka the younger people nowadays? Who's going to come up with the full ecosystem that will make it very easily accessible and very mobile, saying I can play all the games that I like right now at my house, take my tablet and or phone to somebody else's house with a controller, and easily plug and play and, enjoy my experience wherever I go?
I'm guessing NVIDIA would be involved.
LG.
Yeah.
I vote Nintendo.
I guarantee.
Yeah, it would be Nintendo.
Nintendo's known for taking chances on form
I don't think it's going to be any established current manufacturer. I don't. They're dinosaurs. This is a new industry.
You don't think Apple's going to have any role in that?
Okay, Apple, yes. I don't think consoles, that are out there.
Console makers.
Yeah.
Do you think Apple's going to try to enter the console,
I don't know.
I think it's
part of
Apple's mandate
very low cost.
Create controllers.
Go away, you'll get a TV with a Nintendo built into it.
Yeah. Which I don't like that. Does everybody what do you guys think of having something built into a TV?
Hate that.
I almost 100% feel that the next 360 will be built into the TV, and the next Sony console will probably be the same, because both of them. Well, Sony makes TVs. How hard would that be for Sony?
Agreed.
And then Microsoft has a lot of partnerships with
everybody. I want to say that they tried to make a TV with a PlayStation in
How
it.
interesting would that be? A little bit of Android, a little bit of Sony PlayStation Network all together.
That's a good point. You've got a good point. That actually could win the day.
Yeah, just
Do you see them getting along though, Sony and Android?
They already are.
I mean, to the point of actually building something like that, where they're merging OS.
Android wouldn't need to get involved at all. Yeah. They're open source completely. Google wouldn't have any say in it. I mean, if they wanted
Google would help
TV on there, if they wanted the television on there, sure.
They would. If it was going to play nicely, they would.
Oh, Google would definitely help. They'd throw some bucks at that right away.
That would be a big
I guarantee this has already been discussed internally.
On the other hand, anytime you mention Apple and gaming in the same sentence, everybody kind of snickers a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, they snicker, but they're making so much money off of it, so they're doing it.
For casual, though. If they wanted to go hardcore, it'd be a different story.
It's not in the roadmap to add buttons to anything. Yeah. They're removing buttons, which is going to be a really strong hindrance in the growth of the market.
So are they going to go Kinect style? Do you guys see the future of gaming as a Kinect style type?
Not if you're going to do mobile.
I can see that well.
I think the future of gaming.
I can see that using the Android Open Accessory Developer Toolkit or whatever it's called. Somebody using that to develop hardware in a Kinect type style.
I feel like the future of mobile gaming, in the fact that you've got your tablet, console, and television that all run the same operating system, whether it be Apple or Android, could go Kinect style at some point. All they'd need is some kind of chip in your phone, and you could hold the phone in your hand, maybe even have a strap on it for your wrist.
Yeah.
Just like the Wii idea. And then you could have...
Or like the iPod Nano.
And you could play dancing games. I mean, you could play Cut the Rope with your controller, just swipe it, and it cuts the right piece of the rope. I mean, it's not unthinkable. No. And Google has TVs now. Apple has TVs now, and they kind of communicate.
Apple has TVs.
So, yeah. Well, in that same vein, you could say, what? Google has TVs?
No, very true. They don't.
Yeah, neither one of them really do that are successful.
Yeah, they don't.
They're not successful. They work, but they're not amazing.
However, there is a rumor of a Nexus TV.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Or a Nexus
All I
tablet.
know
You
is
guys think about Nexus tablet?
Can you imagine?
I would buy a Nexus TV.
What do you guys think about the Nexus tablet rumor?
Yeah, buying that. That's the whole reason I sold my touchpad.
No, but like, what is it going to have, and is it going to be affordable? Is it going to be?
I'll be an Apple
it'll be
fan,
affordable.
Just because it's Google.
It'll be affordable.
I agree with you, Derek. I do agree with you. But like, they said it's going to be a direct competitor to
the Fire.
Yeah.
Sub $200 tablet. Yeah.
I think that Apple is not the only one with a books announcement. I think Google will have one soon, because if you wanted to directly compete with the Fire, it seems like they would have said we want it to compete with 7-inch tablets, not to compete with the Fire if they didn't want it to compete with the Fire. You know what I mean? So I think they're not the only ones with a book announcement, because Google Books are not appealing right now. Karma, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, my mic reads.
Like
sorry.
It's cool.
Yeah,
shut everyone up.
It's really good. If you haven't tried it, I've tried it.
I've heard.
Tried what?
Wanted to be a kid.
iBooks 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
However, my one problem with iBooks 2 is something I read the other day on Google+. Put your book on iBooks 2. Don't put it anywhere else. Not something I enjoy.
No.
Whereas I feel like Android would be like, put your book here. I don't care if you put it somewhere else. You're looking to make money just like us. So I feel they may not go that way. I could be wrong. But so far with their music, they've done that. And I mean, they haven't gotten any exclusive rights to videos either. So they could do books the same way. If they do books right at all. Like I said, books is not really appealing right now.
I think it will be very appealing.
It will be.
As more goes on.
I think it will be a huge revenue for Apple and
for Apple and Google and Kindle.
Yeah. Anybody that
already is for Kindle.
Yeah. Anybody that tries to enter that market and enters it successfully will make a lot of money.
The only thing somebody needs to do is have a spritzing sensor, so that when I turn a page, it goes and smells like book. That's what my wife keeps complaining.
Do you want to go back to smell-o-vision?
No.
Which was the thing that happened also.
Just a book smell. That's all we need in there.
Maybe that'll be an add-on that will cost $800.
My wife just keeps saying that.
That is also a thing that exists, though. There was this thing at CES, which was this module that would receive things like Twitter feeds, and you can program, depending on which keywords and hashtags it got, you can program the smell of it.
That's terrible. Somebody would use it, just be like, anytime homeless man's put smelly poop in there. It's like,
picture me going to like my...
Just because they're in a college dorm.
I'd be more worried about anything that came up with a hashtag.
Yep.
I just picture going to like Christmas or something and saying, "Hey, family, look at this. This can do this," and then somebody tweets something very inappropriate, and I just started smelling inappropriate things.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. It'll be very interesting. I mean, back on books a little bit. I saw a ebook platform made by somebody recently, and it does what a book does, basically. You can skip through pages. If you swipe with 2 fingers, that's like 4 pages. One is just one single page.
How about this for a gaming platform for books? There is a book platform that lets you create, that has enough interactivity in it that people are writing choose-your-own-adventure books.
That'd be cool. For tablets.
These are also things.
Probably with pictures, though, too. I mean, in this interactive pictures, that'd be interesting.
I will see videos.
Yeah, videos.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, maybe even, like, you could see, like, a scene of what you're reading.
Yeah, videos need to be integrated into future books, ebooks.
They are right now.
Yeah,
iBooks
but some of them are not integrated that well. They need to be done well, and they need to be done relevant, and they need to be very easily implemented so I could go out and create one extremely easily.
I'll show you one. I'll show you a demo of the iBooks.
Okay. While you load that up, I was just wondering what Android's doing. I mean, iBooks 2 is going back to like Apple's, one of their original really big things, which was schools. I mean, when Steve Jobs left and then started his own company, it was very based around schools. And I think he started winning the day, and so Apple was like, please come back. Please come back.
Next was around schools?
Yeah. I was reading about it in his book. Like, one of his first couple, like, big people were like, I think he said either Harvard or one of those companies, and they were like, I can put all these books on there for you on my computer, and then you can buy it, and you'll have pamphlets and books and all these different things. And he was selling it to a couple big schools and telling them, you know, I can be your provider. And Apple kind of like had part of that market.
With Next,
yeah. It's kind of interesting. It really is. I mean, I got his book on the Barnes & Noble Nook, and I'm reading it on my touchpad, and so it's kind of funny.
That was one of the things actually I asked for Christmas and I didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I asked my wife. She told me she said, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, I don't really want anything besides the Galaxy Nexus. So how about you give me a Steve Jobs biography? Yeah, I didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
Got all sorts of other stuff now.
Yeah.
I'll buy it myself one of these days. I do want to read that book.
Buy it on ebook.
One of the things. One of the
I just need to figure out if I want to buy it for Kindle or buy it for Google Books.
Mm-hmm.
Something that no one has mentioned is the space requirements for AAA games on mobile.
Oh,
that's going to hit an issue because, okay, now if you have like let's say you're using micro SD, if you have a class 10, then okay, your transfer speed's pretty good.
Pretty good for saved information.
But on the other hand, what normally comes in devices, we're talking like 2, yeah. And
but internal storage as much as you don't have that issue though.
I think cloud storage is where we'll go. I'm going to stop you guys right now though, because Carm's got this book ready, and then we'll go back to this.
Yeah, like when you open the book, it does that.
Oh wow. That's just the book?
That's the beginning. This is the Life on Earth book that works with iBooks too. So as soon as you open the book, it does this instant video. That's the Life on Earth, right? And then like
that's awesome.
When you flip it and you go to like page 3.
Oh wow.
That is
so
nice.
They've added their that's just something you're never going to get on Android. They've added their picture looking thing on there, which I'm envious of that in ways. I hope.
Yeah.
I do like the page flipping though of some Android ebook providers.
Well, do you have a page that has a video embedded in it?
Yeah. So this is page 3.
Okay, is that a Google video or is that just a video? Do we know?
No, this is the book itself. This is page 3 of the book, and then when I hit play,
Super professional.
I'm sorry.
Is that a YouTube video?
That's what I'm wondering. Is it YouTube embedded or is it Apple embedded?
I think it's Apple embedded.
This is nothing. Microsoft and Carta had embedded videos and pages 20 years ago. Come on now.
So can you hear it?
Still really cool.
Can you flip the page and it still goes?
Yeah. And then it just stops, and then when I go back, and then I just wait.
Oh, it's going right now?
Yeah. See, there's a.
Oh. What kind of interface is that? Is that a...
and then I can make it full screen.
Okay.
While inside the book.
Interesting.
And then
So it's like you can learn and browse and do everything. Oh, somebody shoveled my walk.
Yeah. So it's very interactive. The movies, like there's details and stuff inside the book while you're reading it, and then you see all these. It's really awesome. Like.
This is definitely something that's interesting for mobile. I think you just made it more interesting than the whole iBooks presentation.
Yeah. Woohoo! So like this one.
Nobody talked about this thing.
Molecular families. Like, I wanted to learn about play.
You're a little fuzzy.
I'm a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna have to. Okay, there we go. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's
was this like a free book or was it something that cost money?
No, this is a free book. It came.
Okay, so that's really cool. Let's stop there and talk about that for a second. Because if they're offering free books of that magnitude, imagine what the paid ones will be.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that's not talking college manuscripts or college books or anything like that, because those are obviously going to cost a bit of money. But imagine the free books that'll come out for Google Android, for Apple iPad, and Nook, Kindle. I mean, plus if BlackBerry sticks around with their tablet market, they could get books too.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a fun. It is. it is enjoyable. Plus Windows could get books.
That's another funny one.
I really think Windows tablets is what's going to pull. I think they'll have something with the 8. It may not be amazing, but I think it'll have books at least.
Oh yeah. Actually, a bunch of the details on the app store was released in the past couple days. I saw it on the Windows App Store and didn't read it, but yeah, that information's out there.
So I mean, books could be a huge tablet thing. Imagine story time with the kids. Okay, let's go get on the tablet. Move it to the TV. I'll turn the pages and read you guys the book. You just sit on the couch and watch it. And you're interacting. It's doing all these cool things.
Okay, short of nonfiction like science books, I'm finding it really hard to wrap my head around a book that is a movie. That is not a book that is a movie.
Yeah.
I would say that the demo that she gave
I know.
experience.
I think it's a very interesting take on it. I think it'd be very helpful for when I was in school. I mean, I think it would be something that if I was reading about some type of atom, and then I would go into a little 20-second clip of the atom and how it breaks apart or how it's, comprised, I think they'd be very educational. I think it'd be, I'm a more visual learner. I think there are a lot of other people out there that are more visual learners. I think it would help out them. I think it would help out the, not necessarily like book studying geeks, but I think visual learning is a great thing.
I think we're all visual learners. There's no such thing as we're not. Everybody is a visual learner. So a book
in some way or another.
Where you can read, and then there's really interesting graphics, and then there's a movie along with it. It's very cool for kids nowadays.
Yeah, I agree that everybody is visual learners, but I think people learn better in different ways. Some people will learn better visually. Some people learn better with just text. I think those people are crazy, but they may have a photographic memory. You know what I'm saying? So then they can get all the content and be fine. But I think this is really awesome, and it opens up the learning spectrum to a bigger audience.
Imagine college textbooks done that way.
Yeah, I think that'd be very cool and very interesting.
See a full screen graph.
Oh,
yeah. And something explaining or illustrating what you're reading.
It came with a free tool that you can download on the App Store, the desktop app store, and create your books for the iPad using that tool, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, a quick question about that, what you have there. Is that downloaded content or is that streaming content?
That's a good question. I haven't tried it without Wi-Fi or without cell data.
Because I'd be very interested to see if that was...
I'm going to turn that off and I'll check. You guys.
I wonder if it comes with it or not. I mean, in a way, you couldn't make your book too big that way.
Exactly. And then that would be kind of hindering the type of interaction that you would ultimately want.
A picture would be cool, but then you have to build frameworks and things around the picture that are even still may require web or something, where if it's accessed off it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that's a good point, because if they're already big enough because you're adding animations and just different things. I mean, like I was saying, for story time, how fun would a bouncing dot be where your kids could read along on the television or even just on the tablet and or whatever. So it's like, it's very interesting. How would that be?
It's still running, and I turned off my
Go to a new movie.
Yeah, try a new one, because you might be...
Because that might be cached. Yeah.
Let's try to find one. Where's the other one?
It's only got one video.
Yeah. Maybe that's the limit.
Wait, wow, I didn't know that. I can do that? Oh my god.
Okay,
find a video. Find a video.
I know,
She's so interested.
Hold on, I'm just distracted.
She's playing with toys.
Stop playing around with it. Stop it.
Your new toy. Stop playing with it.
Oh, here's one. Let's see if this one.
Earth.
No, yeah.
So that's all on your. That's weird.
It's on your device.
That's huge.
I don't know. It's on
a lot of data.
HD content. That's going to be like, let's say,
data.
Let's say on average. Okay, what would a book be if you had? I don't know.
Regular books are tiny.
Yeah, that could potentially be 500 to a gig.
Right, because it's no longer just a book. Now it's more of a library of videos.
Yeah, it's basically a new type of gallery with text.
Yeah, really. It's almost like an interactive. It's almost like a website in a way.
Well, imagine the.
It's like a pre-cached website.
It's not a book anymore.
Well, it is a book because it's giving.
Just, I know, it's my brain. It's lying.
It's more like a textbook. We'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine the interactive game and book combination that you can do where a kid is playing a game, but it's actually a book and it's a game at the same time.
For young children, yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of clicking on a video link, it'll be an embedded game.
Yeah, it's like
from ages 0 to 10, it'd be very interesting to be like, and Rodney the rabbit went to the farmer's, thing and picked some carrots.
I think you have an idea there. That's a great idea.
It'd be more like a GIF with sound, maybe. So it'd be a lot easier, but it'd just be him just popping carrots out of the ground, and it's just a little bit of an image, and I wouldn't require that much because it'd be a very non-compressed music file, or a compressed music file to save, obviously, space, and just an image. So that wouldn't be that bad at all. That'd be great for kids.
How much space that book takes up?
I'll have to look that up.
I'd be very
curious. How many megabytes, gigabytes, or?
Maybe it's very, very compressed video material.
It could be the idea of like a game. I mean, a big game on a Wii disc is 4 gigabytes, but they put everything in compressed files until you need it.
One of our viewers said that Encarta bakes 650.
Yeah, Derek was saying that earlier too.
So it's not that big.
Encarta?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember. Are you talking about the one from like the mid or late 90s, like 97?
Yeah, I had some
Wikipedia before the internet.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. I had one from 97, and I'd search its vast library and be like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And
that was the most fun thing.
It was Wikipedia.
I distinctly remember
it's better than Wikipedia. There's video.
Mm-hmm. If I'd had Wikipedia when I was in high school, good lord.
Well, we could probably close on this topic unless anybody else has anything major to say. But when Wikipedia went down and the whole SOPA thing, there was a Twitter account called HerpDerpedia.
Yeah, I saw that.
About all these kids complaining and crying because Wikipedia went down. How are they ever going to write their test now?
God forbid you have to go to a library.
It was so hysterical.
Well, speaking of that, one of my friends is actually a children's librarian, so she has to do with a lot of kids doing research, and which means she had to explain to every child and every parent what SOPA was, who do not own their own computer, so they had no idea what was going on and why it was inconveniencing them, and her day was awful.
Well, one thing that really irritates me about that is Facebook, other than Zuckerberg's post, did absolutely nothing whatsoever.
That was awful.
But I'm not familiar with this.
Facebook? Well, yeah. Also known as
on the
Facebook.
MySpace?
What is that?
Yeah, what did MySpace do? It really makes you wonder.
You can ask people now and they won't know what MySpace is.
MySpace is about music.
That'd be too funny. Yeah, you think MySpace would care, but I think they're not. I think they're enough not about music or anything else for that matter right now that they just didn't.
Oh no.
They're Timberlake's tax shelter right now.
MySpace is the kid that wrote everybody how to write crappy HTML.
No, it's terrible.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It's awful.
GeoCities?
Yeah, Tripod. Tripod. Don't forget Tripod.
Oh, what was the other one? I'm trying to think of it. Postfire? Was that another one? feel like that was one.
Well, Tripod and Geo Cities were the...
Yeah, no, I know what they were, but
Angel
I'm pretty
Fire
sure
was the third one.
Angel Fire.
Angel Fire,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
I knew it was Fire something.
I am obviously older than 2 people in this room.
I remember what Angel Fire was.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one.
Yay! Good, I don't feel bad anymore.
Outside, I heard Angel Fire. I remember them. I used to have a website there.
I think we all did.
I did too, and I'm 24.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I did not.
I did.
When we were able to use shorter URLs, that was what made me excited, because I was sick of being like GeoCities blah 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 dot blah blah blah.
Remember when you had
like
to
nobody
have
can
the name
get there.
of the city and your actual and a numbered address to your website? That was awesome.
Oh, I can't believe mobile's come that far.
I remember way back
computers.
when I bought the first X-Wing game from Walmart. If I remember right, and I'm pretty sure I do, the little cover that came inside the CD or whatever had the IP address of the server of their website.
Really?
Yeah.
Link up.
I wish I
Oh my, how far we've come.
It's insane.
Remember when domains were $75?
I remember that. Yeah.
Some still are. Just they have to be the good ones.
Hey, some domains are thousands and thousands and thousands.
I know.
I
went
remember
to
when you needed an 800 number that charged $2.99 a minute to get a hint for a game.
I remember that.
Yep.
I never used it, but I
can't believe
it.
Nintendo went away from that. Seems like they'd still be there.
It wasn't
because they're
Nintendo,
so old
it
school.
was LucasArts. That
Nintendo still does it. Or Nintendo still did it, I mean.
So what?
They did afterwards, yeah.
Nintendo Power Magazine?
I had that too.
And
then they brought it back, which is
subscription for here.
fantastic. It's taken all my willpower not to like re-up for it.
They've actually brought a lot of back. They had Club Nintendo back in the day, and they took it away from America, but that came back too.
Well, by all rights, there still is the Prima guides and all stuff like that, and people do buy them.
It's no Nintendo Power though.
Yeah, Nintendo Power is fantastic.
Even though it'd be really cool to write those games, because the guides come out like 2 months before the games ever do, or whatever, or like they're finished. It means those guys have played the games for the past 6 months. Like, oh yeah, give me a game 6 months in advance. Sure, I'd love that. I mean, some of them don't get that luxury. Some of them only get like a month or a week, you know, to really play the game, and then they have to write the guide before the game comes out.
Do you guys think there are more games in with iPhones rather than with Androids?
Yeah, easily.
By tons.
Can't comment. Never used an iOS device. Still no.
I don't know, but I know that I don't use one, but I know they have more.
Well, they don't have more in numbers, but they have more. They probably have more installs, just because.
How about? I think iOS has better quality games.
More unique too.
More quality games. How about that?
That's because you have to talk to them and meet their style.
In 2012, it's a
their
lot
style
better.
standards.
Yep, that's right.
We're getting better in 2012 now.
Do you agree?
I mean, games are coming that are matching.
Yeah, more
That's because real companies are getting into it now.
Night. It was supposedly an amazing iOS game. Never heard of it before. It looked pretty awesome, so I installed it. So yeah, they're obviously coming to Android.
Mm-hmm.
Osmosis HD.
Never heard of it, but it sounds good.
Hey, it killed some time. It was fun.
Do you think more iPhone users are willing to buy their games rather than Android users?
Yeah. The users I talk to that run Android don't really have a problem with purchasing, but I don't know what. It's almost like there was just a bunch of people waiting for more free games to get a phone platform, and then Android came out. And they're like, perfect.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And it's also that if you're an Apple user, you're kind of used to the whole I have to buy this mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's second nature. It's like, oh, this is 99 cents, just click, and since you don't see a buy screen at all, it's so seamless that it probably doesn't occur to them that they purchased all of this. But Android, they put a lot of gates into it so that you knew you were buying it, and it was less seamless so that you knew you were doing it.
So you feel more guilty. It's just because we want to see how developers can put out their games there independently and make money off of it.
Mhm. I'm a little bit frightened for me to start making more money because carrier billing is now on most carriers, I should say, for Android, and I'm like, I'll put 99 cents on my bill. That don't make me feel bad. So I'm starting to.
You get used to it after the first couple months, then you stop.
I'm starting to worry about the
you
future.
run out of space.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. Plus, you just have a backlog that you always have. So even if you uninstall it because of space, if you happen to get a tablet or a bigger phone, all of a sudden you've got all these games to play again, or devices, or apps to use.
Actually, they do that now on the iPhone, on the iTunes. So iPod.
So yeah, it's definitely. I definitely feel that Android needs to change soon, if they hope to continue to power through like they have been.
Well, both platforms need to keep changing.
Yes.
Especially now, because we're getting so close to another breakpoint that they don't have a choice in the matter.
Well, for one thing, a year from now, our 99-cent games on Apple and Android are going to be the free games, and then there will be a new 99-cent game that's become cheaper to develop and things like that. It'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
It's already kind of happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
There's
Android.
been 2 versions on Android at least.
Yeah.
Ad-based or donate version or.
Ad-based games, though, don't they generally make more money from ad-based games than?
It depends on the number of installs. A lot of ad-based games make negative money, just because they don't get the kind of turnaround that you would expect.
Well, let's say an extremely popular game such as ad-based Android or 99-cent, Angry Birds or $1 Angry Birds.
I think if you go from a mid to high range studio like Game House or something where they have light end paid games, they are probably making more on ad installs, but the thing with Angry Birds, like I said, I'm betting that a lot of their revenue no longer comes from their games themselves, but their licenses and their partnerships.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I don't know where we're gonna. It'll be interesting to see where we go. I think that's kind of just the closing note. I think it's in the general consensus that we need to be wrapping up pretty soon. If there are viewers still watching in New York, it's getting close to 12. And some people still need to go to whatever else and go to bed and such. Are there any final notes that we need to cover? Nothing too long. Anything anybody wants to cover that's final?
Well, no, I can do it on the next show, I guess.
Okay. Well, tease people. What is it? So they can be teased.
Teaser. We need a teaser.
I love teasing.
It's mainly not really mobile, but it introduces people on how to do websites using Ruby. So I'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Did you say using Ruby? Is that what you said?
Ruby on Rails, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear you. I thought you said Ruby. Nice. I'll watch that.
That'll be a fun teaser for next week.
Yeah, I'll watch that. That'll be interesting.
It's going to be free. So you guys, if you're interested, stay tuned for that.
You know what? Check out this book right here. I bought and I only read 2 pages of it.
Wait, was that the 2007 one?
No, I bought it like probably 2 years ago. I wanted to learn Ruby, and I got really well. Yeah, we can talk about it some other time. But yeah, I'm not a programmer, and I fell asleep after like the 10 pages in.
Maybe next show we can have a little bit more development talk, maybe something like that with a lot of mobile integrated. I didn't really do intros, so do you want to do should we do outros? And kind of say who we are and maybe give a final topic if we feel like just short. I'm going to start with Amy because she's who I see first.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a backend engineer for Yahoo, and one will be launching salary cap for soccer soon, and also please sign up for our Technovation Challenge if you are a female in the technical industry and live in the Los Angeles Bay Area or New York, because it gets a lot of girls interested again in technology after losing it so quickly.
Ben?
Oh, okay. As far as games go, am I allowed to plug mine?
Oh, you're more than allowed.
Okay.
Every time you're on, you're more than welcome to plug your game.
Fair enough. My name is Ben Woods. For my day job, I do hardware, software, networking support for small businesses, stuff like that. I also do web development. But since the topic is about games today, if you like RTS games, my game is free for anyone to play. It's available on Desura. It's called Evolution RTS. You can go to the website at evolutionrts.info or just look at it on Desura. And yeah.
Awesome.
Provide the link and we can put it
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip you, Carm, till last because we're hosts. Go ahead, Derek.
Well, my name's Derek Ross. I am a IT geek at heart. During the day, I'm a sysadmin. I play with servers, VMs, and networking equipment all day long. By night, I'm a big Android guru from pretty much anything besides writing my own applications, and I'm modding framework, making my own small mods for my phone, custom ROMs, things like that. Pretty much anything Android related, I need to know about it and have my nose deep inside it, one way or another. But as for mobile gaming, the topic at hand, I really honestly don't do a whole lot of mobile gaming. I do too much other stuff on my phone or my tablet. Trying to break it one way or another. Use it for games? Come on now. There could be framework. It could be changing. Like, I play a little bit of games here and there, but nothing too extensive.
Maybe we'll have you on another show in the future for something else. Past guests are usually invited back. And Scott?
I'm Scott Anderson. By day, I work for a marketing company. I market household products. As a side hobby, I do old video conversions into DVD and Blu-ray. That stuff. And then by night, I love Android and everything that is about it. I'm very interested in where they're going in the future and anything Google. And mobile gaming every once in a while, but it can always get better, and I know it will. And I'm excited to see the integration throughout TVs and mobile devices as well.
And then Carm, we'll close. Well, not really close with you because I think we'll close whatever. But what? Who are you? I don't know who you are.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Tell everybody about yourself real quick, and we'll close.
I have to?
If you don't want to, I'm not gonna make you. I think you're my boss. I'm not gonna force you to do something.
No, I'm just. Can you hear me? I'm Carmel Thompson, and this is our show, Mike's show.
She plays WoW. She's a nerd.
I play WoW, and I'm dying to play Diablo 2, and I'm hoping that becomes mobile.
Diablo 2?
Diablo 3. Oh, wow.
Two could go mobile.
I was so excited about Diablo 3, right? And I used to play Diablo 2. And then I bought the game again. I downloaded it, like, both versions, and then I tried to play it, and then it told me that it doesn't work on Lion. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so annoyed.
There's a website that sells the entire Diablo series. I think it was on sale last week.
It was pretty cheap, but it will not work on Lion. I have to...
oh, you're on Lion.
I have to...
Lion's angry.
Yeah, bad cat. And,
maybe Blizzard will go mobile, so...
Yes. If anyone from Blizzard is watching this or follows us, let us know. We can get you on the show.
Because that's going to turn them over. Oh, we were
Oh,
going to, but that's
you know what? I won't be
fantastic.
allowed to watch that. Blizzard has to be out of my life. They stole 6 years of World of Warcraft, so I boycott everything Blizzard now to make my wife happy. La 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 la.
Yeah, right.
Had to go cold turkey.
I did. You know what? It's almost been years since I quit. You know. Yeah.
Wow.
I hear you get a chip.
Recovering.
I'm recovered in WoWaholic for 6 years. I quit.
I hear that every time because Star Trek went free to play, and I'm trying to get friends to play with me. They're like, oh, I would, but I played WoW and I can't anymore because my significant other or pets won't let me because they don't get.
No, that's it. You know what? I enjoyed playing. I made a lot of friends and had a lot of fun, but it's better this way. Plus, I have 2 little kids now, so I need to be an awesome daddy.
I used to play WoW like you.
Okay, well let's talk off air about this. I want Scott to go to bed. Poor Scott. I'm Mike. I'm co-host.
Little boy needs his sleep.
I don't do anything special during the day. I mean, at my day job, I try to convince people to move over to Android.
And also, don't forget that you have basically every mobile device known to man.
But that doesn't make me a phone sales rep, so don't think I'm that. I'd like to be, but they don't pay enough. So. That's about it. I think that's the show. Next week, I think Carm said she'd be talking Ruby, so learn about Ruby.
Not really Ruby.
Well, still, there'll be Ruby talked about. It won't be a show about Ruby. There will be Ruby talked about, though. So.
I love Ruby.
So tune in to find out what Twitter was built on.
Yeah, other websites on the web.
The tears of interns.
The tears of the fail whale. Ruby, good until you get so big.
Blood of children.
Get the fail whale.
I believe that's the show. So you can go off air now.
Good night. Oh,
goodbye, everyone.
Good night. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Yes,
come
thank
back.
you guys.
And thank you for having me too.
Okay, good night.
You have come back. You will.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here.
Yeah, Carm, you have to leave, and then we can come back.
Go away.
Hold on, let me grab business. Bye.
Pull the plug.